Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another edition of PIM Partners in Marriage. I am one half of your host, John Godbolt.
And I'm Vertel Godbolt.
And we are so glad that you decided to join us today and make this a part of your journey, all the other things that you could listen to and enjoy. Thank you for making PM a part of it. Please go to our website at partnersinmarriage.com. We believe in not just marriage, but happy marriages. And so there's material that you can purchase, ideas and thoughts, and the way, even a quiz that you can take to find out if you're in the right kind of relationship. And as of today, the next two episodes, we're going to be talking about those kind of things. Clarity before committing. How about that? Clarity before committing. Mm-hmm. You good with that?
Yes, I am.
Okay. When we did this, let me say this before we get started. My wife and I were talking about some of the things that we're going to be asking you about. And they said, we didn't ask each other these questions. I said, we should have. But the good thing about ours is we had such involved, in-depth, spiritual and natural parents that a lot of things we didn't have to deal with. Mm-hmm. Okay. And so when we look at what we're talking about today, we're looking at it from a non-punitive commitment. In other words, when you start talking, have this conversation, it is not to be punishing anyone. It is really to get better, to monitor and adjust. Mm-hmm. You agree?
I agree totally, right, because we don't know everything. And some things we've experienced, some things we've read about, and all of that, but we don't know everything, yeah. And we can't cover every case. And so that's another reason that if they want to have some counseling or whatever, that we can do that and talk about it.
Yeah, you know? And I think a lot of things we talk about are so varied. It's almost like you can take 10 numbers and call an area code and a phone number, and get zillions of numbers by just turning them around different ways. Mm-hmm. Many times relationships are that different. And when we give you the general, yes. You may have other specific things that we need to talk about in yours that may not fit someone else's. But we want to give it to you in a general concept, basic 1, 2, 3, and 4, A, B, and C. Now, if you got an A part 2, A part 1, A part 2, we need to go in detail with that as well. But today, these are the kind of things when we say clarity, we just want to say you might need to talk about these things before you commit yourself to a person in marriage. And we got some questions here that right. We think that when you're out there dating or on the phone talking to each other or whatever you're doing, riding on your way to church or to some activity, you might need to know these things.
Right. How do you handle conflict?
Yeah.
You know, because you can be in a situation and you didn't even mean anything by what you said, and they just go off, go ballistic.
Yeah.
And so if you see that and you say, what in the world? Yeah. Then you need to handle that. You need to discuss it and handle the conflict without it being about the person,
yeah.
But the actual issue.
Yeah, and we call that attack the problem and not the person. But even in the conversation, talking about that, well, how would you handle conflict? And well, I think I handle it pretty good. Well, let me give you an example. When the X, Y, this happened and that happened, how do you deal with it? And you process that. It gives you an idea of what the person has already done to help you out with that as well.
Right, and everybody is. Both of us can't be right. I mean, just give up. You just say, well, I might not agree, but I can agree to disagree.
Yeah.
You know.
And that's important. Another one that's important is, what's your sexual experiences? And we need to know these kinds of things before you get involved, because this is a liberal society in America.
Your expectations.
Yeah.
What do you require? You know, like somebody might want to have sex every day, and she might want to have it once a week.
Exactly.
So you need to talk about those things and come to a happy medium.
Yeah, that's right. Expectation. I was thinking about experience. I may need to add that one in there too, because that has been a real issue with some people, because they found out that the person with whom they've been dating or planning to marry has had multiple, and sometimes they could be different, could be on both sides of the sexual spectrum, but now they're straight. But you need to know this before you say, okay, yeah, I got my life together. Well, we need to talk about this. How do we know this? Or I'm not. I've never been involved with anybody. Or maybe, well, I've never been involved, but I took care of myself sexually by using toys or tools. Well, we need to know that.
Absolutely.
We need to be aware of that. And the expectation need to be made known too, because are we going to be watching movies? Is that part of your expectation, or what are you talking about?
Yes, because
here?
things have a tendency to resurface. You know, especially if you don't have a relationship with God.
Yeah.
So yes, if you've been delving in pornography, then it's not going anywhere, because that's a spirit.
Yeah, and
you open those gates.
We've talked about that several times in relationships, talking with people, how those things become very, very. They are very jealous, and they don't give you room to really build the right relationship, because they're standing between you and the relationship that you have with your spouse, or planning to have with your spouse. But we'll talk more about that as well. That's another show all by itself. Okay. What are your divisions of household labor expectations? You know, what do you believe?
Well, you know, a lot of people believe that everything inside the house the woman should do, and everything outside the house the man should do. So a lot of times men, they don't think that you should have to help with the children if you have some. They don't think you should have to do dishes. They don't think you should cook. They don't not make the bed. All of that. But those are the kind of things you need to talk about.
Yeah.
Because that gets old, and especially if she works outside of the house. And you're going to just come home from work, oh, I'm tired. And then she's working, and you just sitting down clicking the remote. So, you know.
It's so much. Well, we need more time. I think we haven't got started on this one yet. But, you know, when I think about the balance of work and home, that's another one. Your natural life and your work life. We need to have some understanding of what does that look like. Before I commit to you, I need to know, are you going to be working 70 hours a week?
Yes.
And at home life, I don't see you except when you sleep, or what? We need to know this. And I think that's a conversation, because marriage is not just you standing at the altar, where most women tend to have more excitement about that altar, or coming down that aisle, and the outfits and the music.
Yes.
That 1 hour presentation seems to be more important to them than the next 50 years.
Yes.
Anyway, let's skip down to, what do you expect from me as a husband, as a man, or what do you expect from me as a wife and a woman? There's a difference between the husband and the man, and the wife and the woman. And when we start breaking that down, the role of a husband, we need, like you're saying, do I do all the outside work, you do the inside work? And I would say yes, if you don't do it, if you don't dirty up the inside. Okay, if you don't dirty up the inside, then don't clean up the inside. But you got to take care. That's something you got to determine. That's the husband role. But for the man, the part of me that I think is important that we need to discuss is, like, for instance, the man wants respect. The woman wants to be loved. That's generally speaking. Women like to be loved, cuddled, talked about, given the things that makes them feel wholesome and safe. Men just want to be respected. You know, just make me look good in front of my folk. Now, don't hurt me. Don't embarrass me.
Yes. Well, I guess you're right.
Okay, we don't have time. We got to go now. That will be a great conversation later on.
Yes.
But we'll talk more about it. Hey, guys, we got to get out of here as again, and just want to tell you, thank you for joining us. Go to our website, partnersinmarriage.com. And remember, marriage is not a destination. It is a journey of love.